Evening YouTube, hope everyone's good. Now, as some people may know or whatever, I've never been political in any way, shape or form. I, like many other people, I would assume, would consider themselves politically homeless, where none of the parties around would represent, what you're about or whatever. Does not address your concerns that you can see. Do you know what I mean? Until recently, massive respect to Working Class Patriot, who is the first person that I've seen or whatever a good while back pushing, promoting Rupert Lowe. Now, until then, I'd never heard of him, and to be honest, I'd say when political shows was unfolding on Working Class Patriots channel, whatever, I would kind of tune out from it. My bad. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them. When you've seen a procession of treasonous, shit-talking cunts over and over and over, don't matter which side they come from or whatever, that are just coming out with the same shit, promise you the world, deliver on fuck all, and just take the piss out of the people. And considering, everyone that needs to be a member of X, Y or Z party or whatever, they've all got to pay. They've all got to pay, usually about 30 quid or something. We've seen it all. Do you know what I mean? Nothing ever changes. Nothing ever seems anything other than the biggest grift that's going, the political grift. You've got, do you know what I mean? It's just literally a shit show from what I can see or whatever. Yeah, so for 1,000,001 reasons, I've not been political. I've not seen it as a lawful solution, and even when it comes down to, a lot of people seem to be like putting a lot of strength into what Tommy thinks or whatever. I couldn't give a fuck what Tommy thinks, to be honest. I've supported Tommy for a long time or whatever, but do you know what I mean? He's no different than anybody else, realistically. He's waking up the country and most of the world to the Islamic problem. Yeah, keep doing that or whatever. I'm not being funny, but what Tommy believes or doesn't believe or supports or doesn't support is really not that important to the rest of the country. The media, etc. I've done a good job of labelling him all sorts of things and whatever. So realistically, him vouching for something or whatever, it's not really, some people, everyone's going to look at it different, I guess, but as much as, it might turn so many thousand people into, being supporters of a party or whatever, it generally generates about 30,000 people. So like when Tommy said, everyone needs to get behind Anne-Marie Waters, maybe I'll have to put out the video of when she was stood in Telford and she was giving her all her promises, this, that and the other, and realistically, do you know what I mean? It was just another grift. She fucked off with around £150,000 in her back pocket and did fuck all. embarrass you now, realistically. Now, Tommy sent all those people, yeah, go and pay £30, go and give you fucking all your details and whatever. Knowing full well there's hope not hate shit around it. That's why I kept saying to people, be careful what you do. Be careful who you give your data to. Because if these things are being logged and documented, then the last thing you'd really want to be doing is giving shit cunts like Hope Not Hate all your details, do you know what I mean? And when you've seen these things unfold and you've seen these things not get addressed, and then the lies and the bullshit around it seem to be exactly that, then why should you give a fuck what Tommy says or what Tommy approves of or what Tommy doesn't? I couldn't give a fuck. I could not give a fuck. I've seen too many mistakes, too many fuck ups, and that's being polite or whatever. That's if things are not set to be a certain situation where you could consider it as a data trap. Do you know what I mean? Now, like I say, I've seen these things unfold, and I've noticed that with Tommy or Team Tommy or whatever, nothing ever gets corrected, nothing ever gets rectified or whatever. Even when they know, fucking hell, that's gone a bit south. Do you know what I mean? We've fucked up a bit here. We've sent people to do this, do that, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out that the milk's sour or whatever. These things never get rectified. And at that point, you've got to sort of question things for yourself. That was a bit strange. I just went in the shop and he showed me the front page he said the leader of Iran has been killed, blah blah blah, and he's saying that shouldn't be the front page. Innocent civilians and children and whatever that have been killed should be the front page. So I said to him, well, I think the country as a whole is just happy to be out of that regime. Now, it is a Hindu shop, but I think the guy that they've got working there, I'm not sure he's a Hindu, to be fair. When I said that, it seemed to make him a little bit salty or whatever. I couldn't give a fuck. It's one of them, innit? I said to him, how many thousands of people have been killed under that regime? To deal with something one way or the other, people are going to die regardless. How many people have died before that under that regime? And then the milk turned sour a bit with him. But it is what it is, do you know what I mean? I couldn't give a fuck. It is what it is. Now, this restore and whatever, you got to think it's only 2 weeks old, and the amount of people coming out of all this shit, causing division, divide. Now I'm going to use fucking Herpeter's words or whatever here. The blacktivists. Now, if we can use it on one community, we can use it on the other. So, the blacktivists, the Danny Roscoe's of the world, Based and Bouger. I don't know why people can't get a name right. It's Bouger. It's not Boogie, it's Bouger. I don't know if these people can't read or I don't know. But yeah. What's his name? That other guy. I can't think of his fucking name. The little African guy or whatever. I can't think of his name for the life of me. They're all coming out with all sorts of shit, and from what I can understand, they're all coming out with shit that just hasn't been said. So So I don't know where they're coming out with all this fucking shit from, but all they're doing is causing division and divide. They come across like some mentally ill lefties at the moment. Now, people are going to see things in their own light, however they want to, I guess. I think this year, in general, people have been showing their true colours, regardless. Now, when the way I'm seeing it, because I know Danny Roscoe has been getting his feet under the table on certain other parties and whatever, and I get it. Danny's been a grifter from day one. Before he even joined the movement, he was a bit of a grifter with his dodgy shoes and all this shit he was selling before he even joined the movement. So some people will be around the situation for all the wrong reasons. Now, there's been a few things with Danny that make me question what he's about or whatever, and I know he's not sincere. I mean, you listen to him now and it goes on, you know, you would actually think that he's like a fucking Christian or whatever. I've had private messages with Danny and all sorts where he was referring to people as Bible bashing Christians, this, that and the other, blah blah blah. I'm not going to say who, but someone very close to Danny in a personal life or whatever. That's what he was referring to him as. But now we're meant to believe that Danny's a Christian. Now, I'm not being funny, but I think a lot of people are just taking people for a ride, and they are using whatever they see fit. Now, I've said this from day one. I don't know why people are getting onto the, oh, let's make it Christ is King, fucking blah blah blah. I'm not about replacing one ideology with another fucking ideology. I think anyone that wants religion to be the main part of anything or the main influence or whatever to drag people in or whatever, I think you're disingenuous, proper disingenuous cunts. Now, we've got 4,000 gods, we've got no evidence of even one. 2026, do you know what I mean? It's like, people don't need religion. That's why people have come away from many religions. And yeah, to be using it to like get people in and get money out of people and all that, I just think it's proper disingenuous shit, and we don't need to be doing that. Just the truth, the facts and the evidence is enough to, do you know what I mean, to fucking wake people up to the problems and the solutions. Now, like I say, I've never been political. I've never seen it as a solution. But I can see something in Rupert Lowe that may be something different out of all the showers of shit which we've seen previous. Do you know what I mean? All the previous governments have just been shit-talking wankers. I don't see that with Rupert Lowe. You know what I mean? There would be no reason for me to say, oh yeah, you know, I support Rupert Lowe, blah blah. There would be no reason for me to do that when I've been non-political all this time. Do I believe that it will be, you know, will it fix every single problem or whatever? Probably not. You know, I'm certainly not going to put all my eggs into one basket, but would I support Rupert Lowe? Yeah, I would. He seems to say what he means and means what he says. Now, obviously, only time will tell. I think the fact that he's only been going 2 weeks and he's already at 100,000 people that are members or whatever, should really speak for itself or whatever. That's got to be the fastest growing party that has just come from nothing to where it is in 2 weeks, and I think that's just going to carry on and on and on. So for grifting little cunts like Danny Roscoe, I think you need to get your priorities in check or whatever. We get it, you've got your feet under a table, you're probably going to have a financial incentive somewhere along the way, whether it be now or in the future. We get it. We've seen the grifting fucking shit that comes from you or whatever. What you like, what you don't like or whatever is not really relevant to any other cunt. And if you want to try dismantling things and causing division and all this shit and whatever, then people will mark your cards. I've already seen things I don't like from Danny Roscoe. That's why I don't support Danny Roscoe any longer. At one point, yeah, I did think he was a decent guy. As of the last 12 months, I see straight through him. He's just another grifter. Now, I've never give a fuck what anyone thinks. You know what I mean? If I see something, I'm going to say something. And simple as that, do you know what I mean? Now, there's been a case for holding treasonous pieces of shit to account that was made a case a long time ago. The police actually did their job. They actually served up the evidence, and it was the CPS that knocked it back. Now, at the time, there was the head of CPS was Keir Starmer. Now, when he's on the list of people to hold to account, can we be surprised that the CPS knocked it back? What was the reasoning? Not in the public interest. Let that sink in. Not in the public interest to hold treasonous pieces of shit to account. Now, could Rupert Lowe be the perfect person to bring this to light and use it as a fucking weapon to smash the fuck out of these treasonous pieces of shit, their little cult that they've got going on and whatever? Could he be the perfect person to shine a light on that and bring the masses to gain that public interest? Because we can still use it as a case. The evidence has not disappeared, it's not gone away anywhere. There's still a case number there, and all it needed at the time and all it needs now is public interest. Now, we've seen the procession of dickheads, and none of them have wanted to bring any real change. None of them have wanted to highlight anything that we can actually hold these cunts to account. They all seem to have the little agendas, this, that and the other. Now, it's one of them, timing's everything. I think right now, realistically, there's more people that absolutely fucking detest people like Keir Starmer, Sadiq Khan, Tony Blair. I'll tell you what, I'll put a link to this video of the citizen's arrest that went on at the Fabian Society. See, if you rewind back to the time where this happened, it seemed to be the Patriots didn't know their arse from their elbow with certain things and whatever, and people like CMW. I've been showing people for years, these are the problems that we're going to encounter, these are the documents that they put in, these are the plans that these are all working towards and whatever. And the Fabian Society have been a fucking a key player in all this shit. The Muslim Brotherhood, you name it, these things are now people are aware of. At the time when that citizen's arrest happened, people was none the wiser of it. It was like they just didn't know, and because they didn't know, they didn't want to ask questions because they might feel a bit silly. There's no such thing as a daft question. You either know the fucking answer or you don't, and you ask. Do you know what I mean? You ask, you do some research, you look into things for yourself. But it's like people's egos get in the way or whatever, and they're not able to do that. Now, like I say, timing's everything. At this moment in time, right now, I think bringing certain things out which are useful to destroying these things which are destroying our life, our country, our way of being, our law system, our constitution. Do you know what I mean? We need to strike back, and if we can do so lawfully and you can get the numbers behind you, then you will succeed. It is that simple. Now, before all this came out, before Rupert Lowe started a party and whatever, this is what I said to Working Class Patriot. I said, all that's going to happen now for the next 1,000 days is people are going to join random parties, and there's so many fucking parties to dilute the numbers, it is unbelievable. Anybody and everybody seems to be starting a party or whatever, which is just literally diluting the numbers. The only thing that we've actually got, on our side or whatever, is the numbers. So for every party that pops up and wants to dilute the numbers and whatever, you're not helping the situation. Now, when you've got these people which claim that they're the right, and they're fucking doing slander campaigns and hate campaigns, I'm sorry, but you know better than hope, not hate. Do you know what I mean? We've seen all this shit unfold. I personally have literally deconstructed a lot of hate campaigns from Hope Not Hate, and I'm telling you now, it's no fucking different. Now, there will be decent people in every party, whether that be representatives or supporters and whatever. And it's one of them, you've got around 1,000 days to figure these things out. Figure out that, okay, along the way, there's no point fighting and going mad and doing all this fucking mental shit that's going on at the moment. You've got nearly 1,000 days to sort these things out, and the logical thing to do would be the two strongest parties towards the time should just merge. It is that simple. Your egos are not important. Whose table you've got your feet under, talking to people like Danny Roscoe, is not fucking important. What's right for the country is important. Now, the things that we're trying to mobilise to get sorted now, yeah, okay, it may well change our life a little bit, but it's not for us, it's for our children and it's for the future generations. It is that simple. Now, people need to start doing a little bit of fact checking before running their mouth, chatting shit, causing fucking division. Do you know what I mean? Because it's one of them. You're going to do yourself a disservice, because I can guarantee you people are going to just come away from you. It is that simple. Now, there is a place for everyone. Do you know what I mean? There is a role for everyone. Everyone has got something that they can do to pull all these things together, to build unity, to, do what's necessary. Your egos are not important, only to yourself. When you get buried, they're not going to bury your ego with you. So, things to consider. Now, I would not I would not support or encourage anybody else to support anything political until recently. Now, like I say, time will tell or whatever, but I think, to be honest, the only chance we're going to stand politically is with somebody like Rupert Lowe. All the attacks that you've seen happen, all the bullshit campaigns and whatever, should really be like ringing alarm bells to anybody, realistically, as to what are the other people about, why are they doing this, why are they doing that, why are they making up blatant shit, blatant lies and nonsense, and trying to cause division in the community. Do you know what I mean? Now, I'm a big believer that the real people, the genuine people in amongst all these communities, parties, whatever, the decent, genuine, real people will all unite at some point in time regardless. So, that's all I would say to people. Beware of the bullshitters, the grifters, the people with feet under tables and whatever, that are just trying to stay you away from what could be the last possible chance of a lawful solution politically for their own gains. I would consider that quite carefully. Now, I see that well-known troll, the one that covers up for Hope Not Hate, who pretends to be a patriot or whatever in the mix, who's lied so much, has been injecting herself into all of this shit, even Candid with Lubna has sort of been pulled into it and give it a bit of airtime. I don't know why. Now, this Hope Not Hate troll that has covered up for Hope Not Hate and lied for Hope Not Hate and tried to make out people, waking people up to what Hope Not Hate have been doing, that they're somehow the wrong in this, that and the other. Do you know what I mean? This is their shit cunt's tactics. That shit cunt will accept any attention, whether it's good, bad, ugly. They do not care. Attention is attention. This person lives online. This person does nothing for nobody other than themselves, and has no loyalties to anybody other than themselves. Do you know what I mean? Everybody around that person knows full well, because they too have been attacked by this person or whatever, and had the wildest shit said, going into attacking families and all sorts of shit and whatever. People have seen all these things unfold. Now, it wasn't that long ago that this person jumped onto Candid with Lubna's channel, was being very arse-licker, proper, building them up. Oh, I think what you're doing is great, blah, 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 this, that and the other. And now you're hearing all this shit or whatever. All it comes down to, realistically, is Candid with Lubna has a proper channel, a following, and when needed can, collect money for whatever reason. Now, this Hope Not Hate troll will try and paint a different picture and make it into all sorts or whatever. Now, I've said, anyone from the Muslim community that speaks out, I warned Lubna a long time ago, you will get attacked from all sides. You will get attacked from your own community. You will get attacked from people on the right. I've heard it a million times. Oh, they're just doing tequila, they're taking the piss, they're grifting, they're playing everybody. You name it, they will come out of it. And realistically, we've seen all these things unfold for exactly what they are. Now, this Hope Not Hate troll considering she goes on about grifters and this, that and the other, was grifting off the back of people's footage from the riots. Now, this has already been exposed. Now, I think the most that she gained was £20. That was it. So when she says, "Oh, I'll never do this, I'll never do that," no, you will. You've tried and it failed miserably. The only people that give you money was the people that was close to at the time, which have, one of them persons come away now and can see straight through you, and I've spoke out many times about what you're about. Now, people are gonna see things how they want to see it, regardless. Now, I think, to be honest, it's only going to get more interesting as the warmer months arrive. It didn't really slow down for Christmas or anything. There were still people doing demonstrations outside hotels and whatever days before and days after Christmas. Do you know what I mean? People are not going back to sleep. Now, I appreciate every single thing that Tommy's done, and I've supported him in a multitude of ways for all that time, but when it comes to anything political, nah, just like keep it to yourself, or whatever I'd say. What he decides to support or not support or vouch for, it's not really going to make or break the situation. On a good day, you're going to bring 30,000 people to vote for that particular party. But on the same thing, you have people use that as a, oh, well, look, it must be racist, it must be this, it must be that, because Tommy's name is attached to it and he's vouched for it. And at that point, you probably put 120,000 people off. So it's not really important, and it's not really relevant to anything. You know what I mean? Tommy's done what he's done. There's no point realistically keep doing whatever. I think that's why he's now gone to America and he's doing whatever he's doing there. This country is now awake. There's enough of us awake. It's upon us, the random Mr. and Mrs. Joe Publics, to come up with the lawful solutions. Now, that can be building unity in communities and all connecting your communities together to build unity on that, on a bigger situation and whatever, to physically back a party and try that situation and whatever. That could only be a good thing. We could look at lawful solutions, cases that have already unfolded and the evidence is already there. We can get the numbers behind that. There's another worthwhile thing to do. There's plenty of things we can do, and there's plenty of things we should be doing. Anything outside of that, realistically, do you know what I mean? It should no longer be worth anyone's time or whatever. We've got to use our time wisely. Now, fast forward, let's say whatever party people get behind and whatever, and we start implementing changes which we all want. The people that came here of illegal methods, let's say, all those people have got to go. There's a lot of things that we all kind of want, whether you're in this party, that party, or the other party, or all these other different it's just, do you know what I mean? We all kind of want the same things anyway, regardless. So let's assume whichever party wins, X, Y, or Z. Once you start implementing them changes, it's going to be met with resistance. Now, we need to plan ahead. We already know that we're probably going to be able to win the situation politically, but we've got to think ahead for the backlash that it will receive, the plotting and planning that they will be going into at the moment. Do you know what I mean? We've got to weigh up the situation, and we've got to be able to sort of, at this point, start planning ahead for the situation. Now, we don't want to be in a position where it's us against the police or anything like that. The police have already shown us, when you bring the evidence, yeah, we'll back you and we'll do our part or whatever. They did that with the Kate and Khan civil arrest. They did their part, so it's one of them. If they did then they will now, and we want to be in a position where when it does go to shit and measures are being put in place and resistance is coming out onto the street, that we can work together. We can work together with communities, with the police, with the fucking army and the SAS if fucking need be. You know, we may be in a position where they need volunteers, specials, whatever, to clean up the mess which these treasonous procession of shit cunts, which we've had for a long time, covering up grooming gangs for over 40 years. Do you know what I mean? We need to be in a position where we can not be enemies amongst, do you know what I mean? We need to build unity, and we need to build relations with the relevant people, the security forces and whatnot. We need to be in a position to be able to do that. Now, you can see how it's going in Ireland, do you know what I mean? It's going to turn to some fuckeries over there, I think. We're going to see that sooner than most things or whatever. This is the problem. It's always the people above. It's never the boots on the ground that are making these decisions. They're just having to follow the fucking job role or whatever and do what they're told. Now, we need to be able to break through these barriers and show people up. When you do things right and you get your evidence together and whatever, they will support you and they will do their job. You've just got to, at that point, go, right, okay, you said before there was no public interest. Well, now we've united, you know, we've joined all these communities up and down the country. We've got people from all different walks of life, and we all agree that you need to fucking deal with this situation. You know what I mean? If someone's got charges of treason, then we want them dealing with. Simple as that. There is things we can do. There is many ways of doing things and whatever. We've just got to be able to stick together and do things right. It is that simple. The moment you start fucking about and doing dumb shit and whatever, you're just all going to get arrested. You're all going to get locked up for fucking madness and made an example of, and all that does is scare other people off of doing anything. Now, what CMW did all that time ago, not one person got arrested, not one person was